The mission of the Champion Academy is to provide teens in poverty with the critical support, consistency, and accountability necessary to overcome barriers and reach their fullest potential. We are headed into our 9th program year. We started in 2015. Each year we accept 100 teens living in the city of Rochester and provide them with after-school programming, an authentic and relatable mentor, and exposure opportunities focused on career development, workforce development, and college readiness. At the Champion Academy, to keep our members engaged, we have 7 program elements, and they're all positioned to keep our students engaged, involved, learning and growing, meeting with community members, understanding different ideologies on what it takes to be successful, and different ways to motivate them and keep them engaged in doing something positive, and instead of our alternative of what we see some of our students do in the community. One of those program elements is the monthly meetup. And the monthly meetup is a week-long after-school program from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. In which we have workshops. We provide a space for members to meet, learn, and grow. Those workshops stem from the medical club at the U of R, to the Live Environmental Health Club, to African drumming, which we had last night, to creative writing, video production, anything we can to try to teach them and to inspire and motivate them of potential careers they might have when they graduate. The reason why we decided to partner with Leadership Rochester on this particular program element is the Champion Academy is not a brick and mortar school or location like most people think. We have an office downtown, and our staff and our mentors work out in the community. Whenever we have programmatic events or workshops, we have a great relationship with the city of Rochester, who graciously lets us use some of the spaces they have. And what that means is, when we have our after-school program, all of the items we need to run the after-school program, we have to physically transport to another location. And we set it up as if it's ours for a week. Includes hanging blinds around the whole facility, bringing kitchen and cookware so we can provide the meals, bring in tablecloths and projector screens and a speaker studio. We bring televisions, we bring game consoles and board games, all for things that our students to enjoy when they're at the after-school program. And it can be really strenuous and very taxing physically and mentally setting up for this after-school program. So our goal to work with Leadership Rochester was to try to figure out what we can do to make that process a lot more efficient, less taxing on our staff, and more efficient for our champs, right? So if we have all the materials and supplies we have at one location and it's going in the right place when it's time to break down, and we know everything is, it helps us keep track of inventory, help us keep track of when it's time to reorder things, making sure we have the proper items, and also, like I said, just trying to do it in a more efficient way where our staff isn't run down or burned out from doing this program 9 months out of the year.
After meeting with Chris, it became clear that our first step was to see their facilities and learn more about their monthly meetup process. Our team went out and observed their setup and takedown process in February, and we saw firsthand what Chris was looking for. Their monthly meetup involves packing up all of their equipment and meetup supplies from their office on Pleasant Street and bringing them down to Martin Luther King Jr. Park Lodge. Then once at the lodge, the supplies are unloaded and then set up for the week for their meetup. The process of packing up the supplies from the office and setting them up at the lodge relied solely on staff and volunteers already knowing how the process worked. So we proposed to them to standardize the process for them, including an inventory list of supplies required for the meetups and a clear process of how to set up the lodge once the supplies arrived. Monthly meetups are a staple for their organization, so our goal was to make it so new staff and volunteers could step right in and help with this process without needing to be trained by Champion Academy staff.
Once our plan was set, we met with their staff to develop a formalized process for the monthly meetups. We wanted to learn how they approached the tasks and what items came first. From there, we were able to figure out what made the most sense for developing a clear plan that any staff member or volunteer could easily follow. During this phase of the project, it also became very clear that their equipment storage could be optimized. So as a team, we decided to help organize their storage, bring in some additional shelving units, some bin projects to make that project easier. And in March, we went back to the MLK project park to measure the lodge and spec out how they set up the lodge for their monthly meetups. Chip then took this information and made a 2-scale virtual model of the park when it's completely set up for the meetings. Our project was well underway when Chris shared with us that 2 of his Champion Academy staff members who were working with us to formalize the process unfortunately resigned. For Chris, this highlighted the need for our project, as he would be hiring new staff and looking to bring in more volunteers in the short term to fill those gaps. But for us, it also meant that Chris's day-to-day responsibilities grew longer, so our access to him grew shorter.
With limited access to Chris in the academy, our team spent April and May focused on the information that we needed to complete our project. We developed a monthly meetup binder that included the instructions of how to set the lodge up for their meetups. The binder included our virtual copy of the floor plan as well as photos of the lodge fully set up. We delivered the binder to Chris the first week in May for him to review and trial with their May monthly meetups. Chris loved the binder and said it was going to be an incredibly useful tool for them going forward. To finish our project, we developed an Excel inventory list of all the items needed for their monthly meetups. We also donated 2 storage shelving units. We also connected Chris with Good Day Rochester to set up an on-air interview to help him promote Champion Academy. And lastly, we set up a donation link on their website. Initially, our thoughts was to collect donations to allow them to purchase colored totes specifically for the monthly meetups to help streamline their pack-up process. But since their organization has experienced a few changes over the past few months, we spoke with Chris about broadening the uses of the funds to benefit the organization as he saw fit, and he was greatly appreciative of that. The donation link went live this month and can be found on their website, championacademyrock.org, under the donation tab. Throughout this project, it has been a pleasure to work with such a broad group of leaders for the greater Rochester area to help benefit a local agency that provides such a meaningful service to the youth of our community.